I like painting. I like brushes on the cloth of the canvas. That's important to me. It seems to be the best way for me to describe my world. It's a little romantic perhaps, but I like that link back to the past. I like this idea of paint on canvas. It's an ancient process filled with contemporary and modern elements like music and the internet. The process is very sacred. The workspace, it's important that it be set up a certain way. It's been this way for many, many years. And what happens is I turn the music on, the lights come on, and then I stand in front of the painting for a minute and just be quiet. And I try to shut my eyes to create kind of a barrier between what just happened outside and what is going to happen now. And it's a way to reacquaint myself with the work. When I'm working, I don't talk, although I do talk to myself, I've been told. Sometimes my dogs are here with me, and so they need to settle down, and then we all get to work. The animals in my work are kind of stand-ins, sometimes for us humans. So they're active, they're doing things that are sometimes awkward, unpredictable, unexpected perhaps from an animal, yet it's happening in the painting. So you suspend your belief for just a moment. I want them to be moving, doing something in the paintings because they need to have a life of their own in the painting other than this static, statuesque quality. What that does is to propel the narrative forward. They act and interact with things that we all know, use, remember. I have dabbled, I'll just use that word, with the human figure in the past, and I got stuck. Too much baggage. Is it male? Is it female? Is it clothed, unclothed? What are they doing? What are they not doing? All those things are really important with figurative painting. With the animals, I can have much more liberty. They can do things, they cannot do things that they should be doing, they can be in places they shouldn't be, and all that can help propel my narrative forward.
When we visited the studio, we saw the very beginnings of this piece. It's really beautiful to see the end result here. I'm curious to talk with you about process. Did you know where you would end up, or were there surprises along the way? How does it work for you?
It's actually a little bit of both. I had a rough idea. I think the basic concept was there. The painting is called The Flood, and the idea was that there would be this bird above this flooded area, and it was enough just to have this sort of absurd house of cards.
The irony that he would be saved by a house of cards.
An animal that is perfectly natural in the water. But it was this little junction here that caused me a lot of reworking, and that is the part of the process that I couldn't have seen coming. I thought I had a pretty clear idea when I started. Apparently not.
And then a surprise.
Yeah, and that's what keeps it interesting for me, because I don't want to just execute a plan. It's a dialogue between me and the painting, and it eventually will tell me what it needs, and I have to try to learn to honor that, and then it becomes a better piece of art. Humor is almost taboo sometimes in art, contemporary art. I don't want my work to be a cartoon where you're slapping your thigh and you're guffawing like crazy. It's not that kind of humor, but a subtle, maybe a chuckle. And the reason I like to incorporate that is that it's a softer way in to the work.
We're searching for allegorical realism. I'm having a little fun with the concept, but truly, allegorical realism is something that you incorporate in your work.
Allegorical realism is a way for me as a storyteller to promote the ideas that I believe in. I don't want to be very literal in terms of like a straight line. It starts here, ends here, that kind of thing. It's a more ambiguous route, and the allegory allows that to happen. So these are realistic objects. This is a real power cord, this is a real Canada goose, it's a real turtle, but within the context that they exist in, it becomes allegorical. So those two things come together for me to create a more open-ended way to tell a story. We live in a difficult world. I don't need to hit people over the head or remind them even that there is a challenging world out there. That's all pretty clear. You'd have to be hidden away under a rock to not know these things. I hope that letting them in on this little subtle joke is a way for them to feel less confronted by the painting, and once that barrier is dropped, people can feel a little bit more engaged, and then there's a dialogue, and then the painting and the viewer can have a conversation, and that's ultimately what I want. I have a message. I care about what's happening to our environment, to us as humans, what we're doing and not doing to the natural world we all share. But the way for me to get there most effectively is through beauty, humor, a little bit of mystery, maybe even some poetry, via the images I use.